Good morning. Good morning from the Bullitt County Historical Society and also from our Hideway on historic Savannah Avenue. Today we're going to talk about something that has always fascinated me. We're talking about the Gypsies that once were in Bullitt County and especially up at Portal. I remember the Gypsies that came through Bullitt County. I was about 5 when some camped on the open field at the intersection of Fair Road and Zetterau Avenue. This is now where Ollie's and Zaxby's are located. 60 years ago in Bullitt County, this group of people were referred to as Gypsies. And yes, they had wagons, and they had horses, and they had mules. The term Irish nomads was sometimes used, but today they prefer to be called Irish Travellers with 2 L's. There was a camp of Gypsies on the Turner farm near Portal. We'll talk about this a little later in part 2. The story of the Irish Gypsies or Travellers dates back to 1649 and Oliver Cromwell. Cromwell set out to conquer Ireland, and he did, and thus began the Protestant impact on Ireland. This has caused a wee spot of trouble in Ireland for the last 350 years. You can't truly understand this without a trip to Northern Ireland. Bill and I went there for our honeymoon, and after visiting the cities of Derry and Belfast, I am forever changed in my thoughts of Ireland. Cromwell dispossessed Catholic landowners and replaced them with Protestant settlers from Great Britain. The Irish Travellers were forced off their farms and turned to other lines of work, some more legal than others. They knew all about horses and mules and donkeys, and they worked from town to town selling them. Their home base was in Castlereagh, an area of Ireland. They drove hard bargains, and sometimes they stole animals. One of the first Gypsies to come to America was traveler Tom Carroll. He had success in the horse game, and more Gypsies followed. The southern states were suitable to their trade. They made the rounds, followed the weather, and never stayed anywhere more than 2 weeks. The Irish Travellers began coming to South Carolina in the 1940s, and they camped near Belvedere. A Roman Catholic priest named Father Joseph John Murphy befriended them. He convinced the group to purchase land adjacent to St. Edward the Confessor Catholic Church, as he wanted a stable home for the women and the children. The camp is in Edgefield County, South Carolina, and it's named for this Catholic priest, and the Gypsies still attend this church. In Murphy Village, South Carolina, there are over 3,000 Irish Travellers, and they have last names of Carroll, Sherlock, O'Hara, Mulholland, and Gorman. They speak Cant, an old form of Gaelic, along with, of course, they speak English. It is the largest Gypsy camp in the United States. Other camps are in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Texas. This group is extremely close-knit, and few people from the outside are allowed into their group. The Travellers, both in America and Ireland, typically intermarry. Thus, the purity of their genes is kept. And we all know what can happen if you intermarry, as was the case of European royalty. The patriarchs of the family sit down and negotiate marriage agreements soon after a child is born. These days, the would-be couple has the final say, though it is rare that they object the betrothal that was planned. For many years, Many of the brides were underage girls, but now in South Carolina, the age should be 16. Many of the men continue to make a living by painting barns and other buildings and paving driveways. They travel from town to town. However, they are always home 3 times a year, during the World Series, Easter, and for Christmas. Today, instead of horse and mule trading, many travelers make their money off the deaths of their cousins or aunts or grandparents with life insurance policies. They make millions from these schemes, and that is how they can afford those rather gaudy, huge mansions. In recent years, several Irish travelers from Murphy's Village have been sentenced to federal prison for their part in long-lasting fraud schemes. 2 of these were grandmothers. The list of crimes includes lying to get food stamps and free government-paid medical care, failing to file income tax returns, and false documents to qualify loans for expensive cars and life insurance policies. Many of these mansions and trailers have statues of the Infant of Prague or Our Lady of Perpetual Help. Occasionally, a statue of Jesus is observed out front. There's a great divide among these people when it comes to poverty and to great wealth. There are as many run-down trailers in Murphy's Village as there are multiple-room mansions. In all of their houses, the windows are covered with foil. Yes, tinfoil. You will never see the blinds open. They're extremely private people. Riding around their neighborhood, you will never see into their homes, and you won't see them outside in their yards. It's like a ghost village. I have always been fascinated with gypsies. I highly recommend the award-winning series Peaky Blinders for a look at these people in their home of Ireland. Next tidbit, we'll talk about the Turner family for the northern part of Bullock County and their gypsy story. Thanks for sharing some time with me today. Bye.